perception of Abbey View as being full of dereliction, vandalism, graffiti, anti-social behaviour. That just simply isn't the case.
Abbey View does have a bad reputation, and it's justified.
Most people that live in Abbey View will tell you at one point there's been incidents just about every night due to kids roaming around.
Throwing stones.
I don't feel safe here.
16-year-old alcoholic.
Somebody keeps dumping rubbish in my garden.
Broken the fences down.
Ripping my garden up for no reason at all.
Pieces of broken slab, broken bricks have all been thrown at my windows just in the last few weeks over the holidays. And some blonde boy. They've been kicking the football about the same age as Craig Hughes. They've been deliberately kicking the football against my fence and hedge, trying to break it. They've kicked the football into my side garden, trying to break through my side hedge to get the ball back. I went out to get it and I was getting punched through the fence, through the hedge. But I don't know who was doing it. Yes, 7 Meadow Place. His sister's here as well. They're throwing stones at me and everything. His sister was just stood around, but she knows what he was doing. They've just been throwing stones at me through the front door. And they're in the whole stones are in my hall. I've got his football. I've got the football in my living room, well, in my hallway now. And he's no getting it back. I'll give it to the officer and they can go and see him.
Well, what we've actually done as far as kids climbing onto our roofs around the back, we've all got extensions, all the shops in this front, and we've been forced to put up anti-climbing grease. It hasn't stopped them though. We've seen kids coming in with the grease all over their hands and their knees and their clothes. To say it's antisocial would be an understatement.
I would say 90% of the problems are caused by alcohol. We still have mobs of drunks staggering around all weekend. Young and old. They're still doing it. Nothing ever happens.
Any shop that goes into off-licence business has always encountered problems. They've always been caught selling drink to underagers.
Saturday night, just up in Allen Crescent, a guy was stabbed and died. I don't know who the boy was that did it. I've no idea. But I don't know the boy that was stabbed. I believe he was only about 17 years old. And he's dead. Why?
Now, it's shocking here. It's really shocking. I'm going to my bed at night, so depressed. I need to see the doctor again because I'm ready to take my life again. I can't take it here anymore.
You just don't want to be here anymore. And take that any way you like it. I just don't want to be here anymore. There's a few options for that one, but that's how I feel. I just don't want to be around here anymore. But why should people who've lived in these houses for over 40 years, 45, 46 years, some of them, why should their lives be made hell by 5 and 6-year-olds? Never mind the teenagers, the 13, 14, 15-year-olds, but the 5 and 6-year-olds that are making everybody's life a misery. No one checks them. They're under the age of criminal responsibility. They know exactly what they're doing.
And what's getting done about it? Nothing.
My name is Scott Barry. I voted at stage 3 in favour of the Anti-Social Behaviour Bill and also scrutinised it at stage 2 as a member of the Communities Committee.
I'm Patrick Harvey. I voted against it after a long time of arguing that it should take a different approach to the problem of antisocial behaviour, and I'm still concerned that it's going to negatively impact on a lot of the young people who are being scapegoated. And young people are certainly being scapegoated for antisocial behaviour, but they're also very often the victims of it. And I think the enforcement-led approach doesn't recognise that reality.
The Anti-Social Behaviour Bill, I think at one time was characterised as being anti-young people, but I think the fact has to be borne in mind that for a lot of our young people, it is the fear of other young people that is actually one of the biggest problems that they actually are actually trying to encounter. Quite often during the consultation process during this bill, we got evidence from young people themselves which indicated that although leisure facilities were available in their locality, they were unable to use them because other young people were monopolising them, quite often by preventing them even entering a sports centre or a community hall, just by their actions of hanging around and intimidating other youngsters from using them. And if you actually look at the statistics, crime by young people is more likely to be against other young people rather than against other members of society, although the common perception is that, you know, gangs of marauding youths are out, you know, attacking old women or whatever and mugging them in the street. That's actually far from the truth. It's other young people that tend to be the victims of other young people's crimes. So therefore I think that, you know, the antisocial behaviour has to be seen within that context, that what it gives is it gives added protection to some youngsters who are at this moment being unable to play a constructive role that they would wish to do in their local communities. So it's not quite being as anti-young people. I think it's actually, in some respects, very pro-young people, because it's actually going to liberate some youngsters and being able to take part in activities.
And on the great anti-young people, I think everybody has to take responsibility for their own actions, even as young as 10, 12-year-olds.
I don't believe the new bill is anti-young people. I think it's for young people. The ones who cause the trouble are the same ones all the time, and they're a minority. A lot of the teenagers here are great kids.
What the police now have is the power to move people on, much more explicit power to move people on than they've ever had before.
Some people have made a comparison between some of the aspects of what the bill does and the way that CCTV can sometimes move a problem on. We may end up with areas like city centres, which have lots of entertainment industry, lots of social activity, lots of tourism sometimes. They may become safer, but the places where people actually live, suburbs and residential areas, may receive more of that problem as it moves from place to place.
I agree. CCTV is a fantastic thing, and it can help prevent a lot of accidents, a lot of incidents in town centres. But the ones who would have caused the trouble up the town know they'll be on CCTV, so they wait till they get outside the area of the CCTV cameras and then cause the trouble. Comes out into the suburbs because there's no cameras here. We've got no protection.
I mean, in essence, I think what the Anti-Social Behaviour Act will do is actually give additional powers to the police and other agencies, including social services, to actually make sure that our communities are both safer for young people and for other members of society.
I believe the Anti-Social Behaviour Bill is flawed because it takes as its first principle enforcement. And there's so much more that we can do before we get to enforcement. Enforcement can't positively change people's lives and encourage them to behave better. And the Anti-Social Behaviour Bill won't do that either.
It's like everything else. I think you need a bill and then try and put it into operation, see what's happening with it, see where the flaws are, because there'll be flaws, there's flaws in every bill. See where the flaws are and then have a look at it in a year's time and maybe redesign the bill.